Success in today's video, and I get to join the esteemed company of the likes of Gareth Southgate and Phil Neville. I mean, is that really... That's the best, is it? We could get to a major semi-final today. Hello and welcome to part 3 of It's Coming Home, not that one. I'm Kevin. Coming up on today's episode, we have the final 2 games of the, what is it called, the group stages of the Nations League. We're at home against Ireland, away against Spain. We just need a point across these 2 games to get into the finals in the summer. Spain have had a torrid time and are already relegated. So if we get a point against Ireland with our superior goal difference, it then won't matter what we do against Spain. We'll still top the group and go through to the semi-finals in the summer. I'm not sure who we're likely to face there. Let's have a look at the rest of the groups. So it's looking, well, Portugal are already through. Germany looking likely, as long as they, in fact, even if, is it head-to-head? How does that work with the fact that they've got a much better goal difference than the Netherlands? Holland are going to have to absolutely batter them to them to go through. So it's likely to be Germany, Portugal, us, hopefully, and then either Croatia or Italy, or potentially Czech Republic. I mean, that group's still wide open, but Croatia looking strong in it at the moment. So fingers crossed we can pull off an excellent victory, and then we have a little bit of a rest from England episodes for a little while because there's nothing else scheduled. I don't know when qualifying for the next tournament starts. What is the next tournament? The next tournament's the World Cup. I assumed World Cup qualifying would have started by now. I don't really know how it works anymore. There is a little bit of injury news going into the game. Our star man so far, Paul Edmonds, who's scored in every game I've managed England in, is injured, so he's not a part of the squad. He's got a calf strain and is out for the next few weeks, so we'll see more of him in the new year, unless Liverpool continue to not play him and I forget he exists. So it's a slightly reshuffled attack for today's game. I don't know why that's gone like that. This is how we're starting. We might turn into sort of that kind of shape fairly early on in the game if it's not working, but theoretically Williamson should be able to play on the left hand side and inside forward. North has got 46 England goals. He's one of England's best ever strikers. If he wasn't as part of the same generation as Williamson, I mean, it's mad. They're the same age and they've got nearly 150 England goals between them. Imagine living in that world. How have England not won everything forever? You've got Francis as well, who's got 53 goals and is a couple of years older than him. This England team's been full of goals for a long time. I don't know. I mean, he's got a goal every other game. I don't know how that front four have been playing together for the last however many years. Presumably it is with Francis out wide and those two up front, maybe. But we're doing it in this kind of shape to maintain the shape that we've used in the first few matches. But like I say, we'll switch to the 4-2-4 if it's not working. But going with Powell in goal, a familiar-looking back six of Page, Williams, Ashworth, Hubbard, Smith and Nix in midfield, and then our attacking midfield 3 of Williamson, Francis, Goff behind North. So we just need a point against Ireland. We were pretty convincing against them in the away leg, so fingers crossed we're even more convincing against them in the home leg, and we secure a solid victory and a spot in the semi-finals, which would be excellent stuff. And then I don't know what's gone on with Spain. Bearing in mind, this is a Spain team that has never selected Kano, Akamo, Manu, Jimenez. Who else have we got who's Spanish? Cesar Sanz. There's probably more that I'm forgetting. All these real top quality Spanish players that have been part of our home team that have done so well for so long. None of them have ever been called up into the Spain squad. Yet they're not good enough to finish above Ireland in a group stage of a competition, which just seems a little bit odd. Smith from range, and Smith scores less than a minute on the clock, and Williamson has an assist playing out on the left wing. So there you go, England's greatest ever striker, and I'm going to turn him into a winger in his 30s because you know how much Kev loves a winger. I'm famous for how much I enjoy having wingers knock around the place. But 1-0 up early on. Excellent stuff. Fingers crossed. More of that, please, gentlemen. We would like a big win. We'd like to score lots of goals. We'd like to really send a message to the rest of world football that never mind how rubbish England were in the Euros last summer. we mean business. We're going to score goals. We've got a lot of very good attacking players. Williamson has goal number 92 for England. And age 31 can still do cartwheels. I'm looking at Williamson and North and Francis and thinking the World Cup's a year and a half away. Are they going to last? Because I don't want to have to bring the next generation through. I'm thinking this World Cup is, it's the final opportunity for the best attacking players England have ever known to go and attack and win a World Cup. They've got a very attack-minded manager now who's going to try and get the best out of them going forward. I just hope they all keep their legs for the next 18 months and can go and have one last shot at winning the World Cup before we do then have to bring through the next generation. Realistically, the likes of Williamson and North and Francis and probably a couple of others, once that World Cup's out of the way, they're done. I'm not going to still be playing Williamson when he's 36, 37, unless he's made of youth, unless he's like a reincarnated Teddy Sheringham and is still awesome when he's that age. But chances are he is going to start to decline. We've got a lot of good young strikers coming through, so we will look to replace him once age starts to catch up with him a little bit. But he's still comfortably our best player at the moment, so don't expect me to do that anytime soon. Smith has picked up a knock. I think this is the second match that Smith's picked up an injury in. That's something we probably need to keep an eye on if we've got a player who's a little bit injury prone, especially with summer tournaments and whatnot, where you really can't afford to take someone who's injury prone. That might affect his future in the team. Marshall can come in for him in midfield. Marshall's already played a couple of games for us as well. I'm slowly getting a little bit more familiar with who the best England players are, which will hopefully bode well when it comes to doing transfers for home. I already know I'm after a striker at some point, after an English striker, and now I could probably name half a dozen of them who could come in and do very well for home. So there's my big advantage of being the England manager. I'm hopefully going to build some relationships with these superstar English strikers, and if Tottenham decide to release Kevin Williamson, I'll probably give him a short-term deal because he looks all right, doesn't he? Page now on the left-hand side. We could do with another goal to re-establish the 2-goal advantage. Williamson to Nix to Goff. Goff back to Williamson, who can't get the shot away. I wonder if it might be time to switch to that 4-2-4 that we talked about. We've given it... Oh, my word. Powell makes a good save, but there you go. It's 2-2. It is time to make that switch. We want to get Williamson up front. Francis can go out onto the left-hand side. Williamson is going to play as a complete forward. North can stay as the advanced forward. Francis can be an inside forward out there. And then we'll try that combination as a front four. I can't believe that they've not all played together loads over the years. But, when you just look at the amount of caps they've got, the amount of goals they've scored between the four of them as a front four. But I just can't work out how the four of them play together. It's very confusing. Right, we need to show some passion. We need to... Ireland have come out in this second half like they mean business. And if they do pick up a win against us here, which the momentum's all with them at the moment, but a win here for Ireland, we then go into that Spain game. And I know Spain have been in poor form, but they're still Spain. We have to go to Spain and get a result, which I don't really fancy having to do that. I quite like the idea of qualifying in the first match. Right. North isn't playing well. Callum Hussein is the best bet to come on, apparently, according to my assistant manager. He's 25, 9 caps, never scored, plays for Arsenal. He's as good as Kano and Akamo, apparently. Previously of Chelsea and Southampton. He's never really played regularly in the Premier League. Is he really the next best striker? Because Thompson, I know, is decent, although he's only ever scored once for England. But he's a Kevin Williamson strike partner at Tottenham. That seems like a more sensible change. Bring on the player who's scoring goals with him at club level this season. Francis isn't playing well. Who have we got who can come on the left-hand side? We're going to bring Ben Young on, I think. Ben Young is someone who we've just called up from the under-21s. He's the one who's been brought into the squad to replace, what's-his-face, whose name I can't remember, the one who's been good on the left wing. How do I not remember players' names? I'm awful. Playing his first season in the Premier League this year, but let's get him on, see what he's about. The other option would have been this guy, Anthony Johnson, 24-year-old striker for Southampton, who has also never played. No, I think I'm gonna go for Young and stick him out there and see what happens. Ashworth is having a terrible game at the back. We've got a decent centre back who can come on for him. We're just gonna make 3 changes all in one go. Oh, we made a change earlier on, didn't we? Oh well, we won't make that change. We'll just stick with those. Right, demand more. We need a winning goal, and let's see if Williamson and Thompson can conjure up a goal between them playing together for England. I think that's the first time they've played together under me as a strike partnership, but they are playing together for Tottenham week in, week out. So they should, in theory, be able to play together. Nicks, ball over the top for Williamson to chase. Williamson is in, but it's straight at the Ireland keeper, and we've got a corner. A draw is enough. If we draw this game, we do still qualify, but we really don't want to be scraping through. I thought we'd want a penalty, but no, it's a free kick to Ireland, and they're now freshening up their attack. They've taken off the guy who scored both of their goals, which seems a bit of an unusual decision. Let's have 10 minutes of passion to finish the game. Goff now plays it out to Page. Page has got space to run into, cuts it inside to Young. What a goal from Ben Young. There's an England debut for you. Ben Young, first appearance for England, was originally part of the under-21 squad, only got called up as a last-minute replacement because we didn't have enough strength and depth on that left-hand side. And there you go, the exuberance of youth. He's got a goal on his debut, and I think we've probably got a player who I'm going to jump onto the favoured personnel for there, giving him his debut, being there for his first goal, and he's kind of announced himself as I'm a player who's going to be part of this squad going forward. Thank you very much, boss. He is chasing around like nobody's business. He wants another one. Marshall now plays it out towards Goff, who doesn't get there, but it falls to Goff at the second time of asking. Goff now with the cross. Young's in again, but it's just over. If he'd have got a second one, then we're officially crowning a new hero. Hubbard plays it to Nicks. Nicks into Goff. Goff, cross comes over. It was looking for Young again, who has been very, very dangerous on this left-hand side since coming on. But I think that is that. And we have topped our group. Excellent work, gentlemen. And now we get to go to Spain. And I guess experiment a little bit. Maybe try that 4-2-4 from the start against Spain and see if we can get it working, because we are officially qualified. We're into the semi-final next summer. Do we get to see who else is qualified as well? So it's just us and Portugal at the moment. The other games don't look like they've been played. But that is splendid. Tom Smith has a bruised ankle. He'll be fine. Lots of changes for the Spain game then, as we just try some things out, because it doesn't really matter. So we're giving a debut to a 32-year-old goalkeeper, Stephen Carr. If he was any other position, obviously wouldn't be getting a debut. But we don't really have much in the way of goalkeepers. We've obviously got Powell, who we know about from home. Nightingale, who is even older, and even older than the guy we're giving the debut to. 36 caps. So this was the guy who was the England keeper before Powell, presumably. He's still Manchester City's goalkeeper, but he's not all that. Where's his star rating? His star rating was low. So we'll give Carr a debut. Hawkes we've played before, so he can get another game at left back. Williams we already know. Travis is going to be playing alongside him. Another debutant, 25-year-old who plays for Norwich and is, again, not a huge number of Premier League games under his belt, but we're very low on players in defensive areas. Simon Carter, 27 years old, has 16 England caps, only a 2-star player according to the home scouts, plays for Southampton, so we'll have a look to see what he's like as an option on the right hand side. Nicks we know about, Marshall we know about, Francis we do not have another option. I was tempted to stick another striker in, but I want to try these players in this formation, so Francis and Goff play, even though we don't really have backups for them. I think once they're done, once he retires, I don't know what we're going to do. We'll have to go to like a 4-4-2 or something. which I will hate. We're going to try Johnson on the left-hand side, who was the other guy who could have come off the bench in the last game. A debut for him as well. And then Husin can go up front, who's the guy who my assistant manager thought I should have brought on in the last game, but I didn't. So let's have a look at him to see if he's any good too. Williamson being rested along with a few others, just because he's 31. There's no point risking him over 2 matches, especially when we've got so much young talent around. Let's see if any of them are any good. So, I expect nothing but a win. Exactly. I mean, we're playing a rotated team, and they've got one of our best players in their team in the shape of Robert Costa. So, I'm expecting us to lose, but this is a Spain team that have only picked up 1 point from their first 3 games in this group. So, you never know. We might have a chance. Goff looked so off the pace there. I've never seen him look so slow. There is Costa in midfield, just getting everywhere in the midfield, the way he does for home. He's a very good player to watch. I do like watching Costa because he just gets around. I mean, there he is again in the middle. He started that move way back in his own half, and he was the guy who was in the middle waiting to finish it off as well. He's quite the player. I just need him to do it a bit more often for home. But Spain have a free kick on the edge of the area. We're trying to close down. We fail to close down. And it's 1-0 to Spain after 7 minutes. And I hope we're not going to learn a lesson about our strength in depth today, because that's a worrying lesson to learn when a lot of the players that we're resting are old. So this isn't just our backup players. This is the next generation of players who are going to have to come through after this World Cup. That plan to win the World Cup next summer and then leg it is looking ever more appropriate, because I'm not entirely sure the quality of player coming through is up there with the quality of player currently available. It looks like it's another example of England squandering a golden generation, and presumably not ever be. Perhaps every England manager before me has had the same problem I'm having of working out how to play Francis and North and Williamson and Goff. How do you play those 4 players together? They're some of the best attacking talent England have ever had, but they don't fit into the same team. And I guess there's been an entire generation of England managers either not playing them all, so not playing their best players, or trying to force them into a team together, so not really working tactically. It's like Lampard and Gerrard all over again. But we've just hit the post from a golden opportunity, so that's a little black mark against Husin, because he should have done a little bit better there. Costa with the free kick, and Carr makes the save, and we survive, but we're not really creating anything going forward. We're doing all right with possession, 57% of the possession. We've not actually been able to create a shot on target. There you go. We've had 1 shot on target in the first half, and Williamson is looking on, realising that he is probably going to have every opportunity to get as many England goals as he wants. He can carry on playing for us forever, because we just don't have anyone to replace him. This is the problem we're going to have as well with trying to play a gegenpressing system. Look how tired these players are getting, because we weren't able to rest them for whatever reason. In international squads, you can't rest the players between games. So we played Ireland on Friday. It's now Monday. The players have trained all weekend, and the ones who played on Friday are shattered, which means the tactic's then inefficient. So perhaps we need a second tactic that's a little bit more slower paced, maybe a retained possession style tactic, where we can try and maintain some energy levels, keep hold of the ball, and not have to chase around everywhere, shattering our players. We're 2-0 down, and we're going to take off Nix and Goff because they're both exhausted. Have we got anyone who can see? Best option to come on the right hand side? North. I mean, I think we're gonna just do a flat 4-3-3. Porter can come on for him. We're going to drop him back in there because he's tired too. Smith can come on for him. We're going to stick those 2 up front with him. So he can be a pressing forward. He can be a complete forward. And then in midfield, we need someone who's going to be a bit more attack minded. Marshall, is he the one? None of these are particularly attacking, are they? So if he goes in the middle as a ball-winning midfielder, and then he can do that to try and be the link-up man. It's a bit extravagant on the 60-minute mark, making a triple substitution, but I think two of those players who've just come off probably shouldn't have been playing to begin with because they were tired. Oh, in fact, all three of them were shattered after their exploits the other day. Francis, not so much, weirdly, which is odd because he's 33, played the whole of the game against Ireland, and I mean, he hasn't played well in this game against Spain, but he wasn't tired, so perhaps he's just got an incredible level of natural fitness, which is interesting because it means it's less of a priority to find a replacement for him. Yes, he's 33, but if he's got that level of natural fitness, he could play on for another 2 or 3 years yet. North can't get the cross over. Spain have just taken off legendary midfielder Robert to replace him with elite midfielder Robert. That's not going to be confusing for the commentators at all. The midfielder Robert, no, they both are. The really good one, yeah, they both are. Smith with the ball forward, looking for any white shirt, but can't get anywhere near any of them. We've been poor in this game. So, what we've learned on this little international set of matches is that our first choice players are good, our backup players are not good, and the gegenpress probably isn't going to work at a tournament because if we're playing games every 3 or 4 days, there's not enough recovery time. So, as effective as it might be in one-off matches, with the lack of depth that we've got, we need something a little less energetic, which we probably need to work on developing before World Cup qualifying starts. I mean, the gegenpress will get us through qualifying, but when it comes to tournament time, we need something, especially I think the tournament's in Argentina, so it's going to be hot. I don't know how that plays into Football Manager, whether that's something that's considered, but I don't think we can go down to Argentina and chase around constantly. Oh, I've messed up that team talk completely as well. Well, the positives are we qualified for the semi-final. Let's forget the negatives for now. That can be something I figure out in my own time. I don't know when the next England episode is going to be. Like I say, there's no fixtures set up yet. We know we've definitely got the Nations League semi-final in the summer. I'm probably not going to bring you back just for friendlies if that's all we've got between now and then. If World Cup qualifying starts in the new year, we'll obviously show you some of those. But it might be the end of the home season the next time you see an England episode, which I guess is fine. But we will be back tomorrow with home as usual, and hopefully I'll see you there. If you have enjoyed that episode though, please make sure you leave a nice big thumbs up on there for me. Subscribe to the channel for daily Football Manager videos, and thank you very much for watching.